Search. You most likely need it, everybody expects it, and everybody expects it to work like Google too. But remember, search is hard, and implementations, they vary depending on the use case. And on top of all of that, maintaining search across a big ecosystem, a growing, scaling ecosystem, has exponential costs associated with it. Well, Algolia is trying to solve that for you. As a hosted search SaaS, software as a service, it wants to be an easy to use, easy to integrate hosted search for you. Is it? Find out in this episode. I asked Algolia what their name meant, and they responded with, "We'll let you decide." Let me decide? Well, this is going to be fun. So let's start with the suffix there. There's a suffix, Algolia, the ia, the lia there. That's a Latin suffix that you see in countries like Australia and Albania and things like that. It stands for land or territory of. So maybe Algolia is a shadow nation that hopes to take over the world by controlling search results. You heard it here first, folks. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, according to the Urban Dictionary, I was looking around, Olia is a short or a slang for Olga. So maybe Al and Olga founded Algolia, and maybe they're the secret founders of this shadow nation. I don't know. I have no idea. That's all I got. But anyway, it's a startup, okay? So it's a startup founded in 2012. They have offices in New York City, in Paris, in San Francisco, and in Atlanta. They've raised a whopping $53 million in 2017, and that's on top of the $18 million they've raised in 2015, which is a total of $74 million they've raised in the last several years. And you've heard probably some of these VCs. You've got Storm Ventures, you've got Y Combinator for some of the seed stuff, and a few others that you might have heard of. So clearly there's a love affair going on with the VCs and Algolia, which makes this shadow nation theory even a little more interesting, doesn't it? You've heard of some of their customers. They've got customers like Medium, Twitch, which is really Amazon, and you most likely use their search without even realizing it. If you've ever gone to the React.js, the Facebook framework, if you ever used that search is powered by Algolia, so is Stripe, so is Box, so is DigitalOcean. So there's a lot of places that you've most likely ran into it without even realizing it. They seem to have a pretty solid infrastructure with presence in 47 different data centers across 15 different geo-regions or territories. And they call it their DSN, or the Distributed Search Network, which processes billions of queries a month and tens of billions of write operations per month. Pretty impressive. So enough about the land of Al. Let's talk feature. You know, they boast a 0 to something experience, rapid fast. And after playing with it for several hours, I can definitely say that they nailed that goal. They have some great out-of-the-box search features you don't have to do anything to take advantage of. For example, they've got type tolerance, which is where you might misspell a word and it knows what you really meant or what you were really thinking, which makes this shadow theory even scarier. GeoSearch, which will take things like a latitude and longitude boundary or polygon, and you can search your results or your data sets based on that as well. Filters, which are drill downs as a user searches through. You no doubt have seen that in lots of websites where you search for something and pick a couple criteria and then it gives you more things to pick from. So they have that. It's called filters. Synonyms, which makes it easier for a user to find things in their vernacular. Ranking, which when you upload your data set, you can tell Algolia what fields to use to rank the search results. That way you can say, hey, this is more important, these data sets or these records are more important than these over here. So Algolia uses that to provide better search results for the user. Analytics support, I thought was pretty good. They let you see what users are searching for, if they were needing search refinements or they kept changing their search, how well the search is performing against your data set, just to name a few things. I also received an email analytic report just a few days ago, and it was very insightful. I was very impressed with that email result. There are, of course, some expected enterprise features like SAML and SSO and dedicated infrastructure for a company, as well as, of course, SLAs, software license agreements for enterprises. Maybe Algolia stands for the land of awesome dev tools because they spend a lot of time providing really good dev tools to just make that experience and interaction with their service just that much better. For example, they have really nice React components, and I mean really nice. I'm very impressed with some of their React components. Good places for starter kits and tutorials and things like that. They have plenty of SDKs. Their mobile SDK also has a feature called offline mode where you can use all the search offline. More on that in a little bit. We'll talk about that, but that's a pretty cool feature. And of course, really well documented REST APIs as well. They have this really cool thing called doc search. Doc search scrapes a website. You can point it to your website. It will create a data set from everything it finds. And then all you have to do is take their search widget, drop it on your page, and it just works. So for people who are looking for an alternative from the old Google site search, I think they found it in Algolia. Pretty cool. I was able to take Algolia for a spin recently, and I put that link down below to the live stream where I was playing with it for the first time. So check that out if you want a really in-depth review of my first experience with Algolia. But overall, I thought the experience was really good. Their attention to detail in almost everything is frankly inspiring to me. The web app has a great UI, kind of reminiscent of Stripes. It reminded me of Stripe a lot. I wonder who copied who there. Or if they're part of the same Shadow Rogue Nation. I don't know. The onboarding experience was amazing. I cannot think of a single web app or service, software as a service, where I've had that type of onboarding experience where they take live data and they walk you through it, and they teach you the concepts. They don't teach you the interface, how to, the little pop-ups, click here to do this. Okay, click here. They didn't do that. They were teaching you concepts with live data. I was very impressed with the onboarding experience. There seems to be a decent community around it. I Googled some things and I looked through GitHub, and there are some people doing some things, some cool things with Algolia in the open source world. So it's nice to see that a community is starting to grow around Algolia. In the live stream, I imported a phishing regulation data set. It was a CSV file. It was a breeze. It worked without a hitch. I didn't have any problems. And I was able to do pretty much anything Algolia offered within just a matter of minutes, which was a very impressive 0 to something goal that they have. If I had one big question mark about Algolia's service, at least from a technical perspective, beside the whole Shadow Nation thing, the only way to import data into Algolia is through the REST API. So I asked them, I said, well, what if I have a lot more data? What if I have millions of records, hundreds of millions of records? How do I upload data to Algolia that way? And they said, well, we recommend uploading at batches of 10,000 records at a time. And that sounds fine if you have a smaller data set, but if you have millions, if you have terabytes, for example, terabytes of data, that's going to take a long time. In fact, they'll probably be done as their Shadow Nation, taking over all of the world before your results are even uploaded. So I think that's a problem if you have a lot of data. The question could be raised, well, are they ever going to let you search through terabytes of data? I don't know. But it is a question because of previous companies I've worked at and previous projects I've worked on. Sometimes I've had data sets that have been fairly large. So I think uploading things at 10,000 at a time is not that great. I would like to see something like, for a bulk upload, something like an S3 bucket where I could point to an S3 and it could import from S3, things like that. I'd like to see that in the future. The other minor annoyance I have is around their pricing tiers. Pricing isn't terrible, actually. It's pretty good if you're on the lower side of it. But some of the add-ons, I think, bring up more questions and friction to the sale than they actually do to help. One such example of that pricing issue that I have is the mobile SDK. There's a feature that's an add-on for a higher pricing tier, and that's the offline sync. Sounds cool, but in my opinion, I think it's kind of gimmicky. Not the feature, but that they're putting it in a pricing tier. And I say it's gimmicky because having come from a mobile platform company for several years, I've learned that trying to monetize something like a feature in an SDK, adding a feature in an SDK, ends up causing more friction in a sales cycle than it actually does anything else. Really, I think the crux of the issue I have with it is that they've given me the impression that they don't have a handle on that higher subscription tier yet. That's the impression they've given me, is that they're having a hard time monetizing that. It's an impression. I could be totally wrong, but anytime you see such a disparate pricing difference, and then they try to pack up these kind of features that are so-so features in the higher one just to add value, makes me feel like they don't have a handle on that yet. Now, don't get me wrong, they've certainly done a good job with the smaller companies and indie devs, things like that. They've got good pricing tiers for those people, and if they have bigger uses, they can scale those, which is great. I think that's great. And of course, enterprise plan, of course, because it requires dedicated infrastructure and SLAs and things like that, it requires conversations and planning and things like that. But I think that on-demand tier, that business tier they have, I think they still need to figure that one out. So in conclusion, Algolia was a pleasant surprise to me. They nailed the dev experience. They nailed the onboarding experience out of the park, nailed it. It was awesome. And they nailed the "it just works" goal. So if you're looking for a hosted search, check out Algolia. Hey, you, come here. Are you worried about a shadow search nation taking over the world? Yeah, me too. Click that subscribe button below. Yeah, click it right now. Click it. Yeah, good. That way you know I'll keep you informed. Okay, you've heard it here first. I'll keep you informed. Thanks for watching TopTech.